Today we're going to talk about the Ruby Princess, medical evacuations. We've got itineraries for the Panama Canal and sailings that include Yorktown. I remember I reported to you quite a while ago, several months ago, I want to say, the Princess will be visiting Yorktown, so we're going to talk about that. And thermal suites on cruise ships, lots to talk about today, so let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Thursday, it's May 18th of 2023, and let's start at the top and talk about the Ruby Princess. So yesterday, the Ruby Princess set sail from San Francisco, heading on her voyage to Alaska. They had not been gone very long, and the captain came over the PA system and said that they had a medical emergency, and they were going to turn around and go back to port to medically evacuate that passenger. So that happened. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But also, they are the people that I told you about a day or two ago that are traveling with other people in other cabins. The other people had bid more for their upgrades, but not been upgraded. And they had done it right when the bidding became available. And these people bid very last minute, just over what the minimum bid was, and they got accepted. And so I am happy to report that some of the people traveling with them were his parents. And when they got on board the ship, they were not even expecting it, but they had been upgraded. So that made me really happy. And so let me know if you have been sailing on Princess lately, or any other cruise line truly, and you have gotten an upgrade once you boarded the ship that you didn't even anticipate. Really like to hear from you on that. And thank you all for the very thoughtful comments that you put in as we try to think of how that upgrade system works. A lot of really good thoughts. So if you missed that conversation, go back and watch that video. Now, when it comes to medical evacuations, here's some things I want you to think about. So the reason that they have to evacuate people sometimes is if they are so badly hurt, or if they are so sick that they can't take care of them on board. So there are different ways to do that. You can go back to the port and drop them off on land there, and they can get the medical care they need. It is really quite rare for a cruise ship to just pull into any port. You have to have, permission and all the things in order to be able to go to a port. So they generally just don't see, well, where's next on the map and pull in. They generally stick with the port stops that they've got. And so sometimes it will be a Coast Guard boat will have to come and offload the person. And I have also seen tenders when the very first time we went to Alaska, as we were leaving Glacier Bay, we paused and a passenger was loaded onto just one of the lifeboats and taken ashore that way to get the care that they need. So we've seen that. And then finally, you can also be medically evacuated where a helicopter comes out to the ship and gets you and takes you in. Now that would be the most expensive way to be medically evacuated of all. So when you think about your insurance, remember that that is a really important component. If you have the standard Princess insurance, it's $50,000 that they will cover just for a medical evacuation. If you've got the platinum insurance with Princess, it's $75,000 that they will cover. So that kind of gives you a window into how those prices run. So I'm sure that they just turned around and went back because the patient was stable enough to take them back, and at the same time it saved an awful lot of money to not have a helicopter come out. So just wanted you to know about that and think about that. When you don't think you need insurance, nobody ever expects an emergency because they got hurt or because they are so sick. If they thought they were that sick, they wouldn't have come. So I always think of that. Now we have a Let's Go family member that just barely got off of Wonder of the Seas. If you don't know, Wonder of the Seas is Royal Caribbean's biggest and brightest cruise ship. Until they get the Icon of the Seas, the Wonder of the Seas is their newest ship, and she is beautiful. She is the largest cruise ship sailing these days, and I've been in port with her before, never on her, but when we have been in port with her, she is beautiful, and she is huge. So the bottom line is, before they went on the cruise, went ahead and booked the thermal suite, because they have been on other cruises, and they mentioned Norwegian, and love the thermal suite. So they went ahead and booked it, got on, went there, and were so disappointed to find out that it was just a dark room with some calming music and 8 ceramic chairs. And they said they were so disappointed never went back again. They had sailed on Norwegian and it was completely different. When I think of the thermal suites that I have actually seen with my own eyes on Princess, I think they're beautiful. They have way more than just 8 ceramic chairs and that's it. They always have their beautiful pool with the water coming down. It is really just beautiful. So a few things I wanted to tell you about that is, first of all, I really appreciate him telling this. I never would have thought to say, look at the thermal suite before you book it if you enjoy thermal suites. But clearly, we all need to check on that. So when I think of that, I think you should look at videos about that, because I have noticed, and this is on like not just one cruise line website, but they will show you the thermal suite from, that's supposed to be, it's under the deck plan for that ship, but I happen to know it's from another ship. So their pictures don't always line up with what they're showing. So just be aware of that. I don't think they do it to deceive. I just think they're in a hurry with their website and throw in pictures. So definitely look and see what you can find out. The other thing I think is really important is when you get on a cruise ship, if you think you might want to enjoy the spa, go on embarkation day. On embarkation day, they are already there, happy. Well, they'll do a tour another day, of course, but they are doing tours. They'll show you everything, all the services they offer. They'll show you that thermal suite, and they usually always have a discount for services on embarkation day, and often if you book on embarkation day for another day on the cruise, there's a discount that goes with that as well. So if you think you want to do something, you should definitely go. And then also keep in mind that a lot of times when the ship is in port, spa services are also cheaper then. For example, since we're going on the Eurodom, I booked a hair appointment, and it's $89 for a haircut and blow dry. And so if you book that during the time that you're not in a port, it's $89. But if you book that for a time that is while the ship is in port, then it's $71. I went ahead and did the 89 because when we're in port, I want to be in port. But just a heads up about that. If you don't want to go into port in the place that your cruise ship is visiting, you can save some money on the spa services. And if you know you want to have them done, like go in and book it before you go, because when I was choosing mine just a few days ago, there's a lot of times that have already disappeared on the schedule because they're already filled up. Wanted to let you know. Now the next thing that is really important is Skagway. I know I'm talking about Skagway again, but it's really important. Everything in Skagway is different for a lot of cruise ships this year because of that landslide. People are used, forever. Most people have been pulled right up to the dock. You get off the ship and go the normal way. You just get off and walk and go into port. And they would still occasionally have some of the cruise ships that would have to still tender, but Princess and Holland America never had to do tenders or water shuttles in Skagway. So this year, we're hearing Princess is doing that. So yesterday, we had a Let's Go family member on board the Majestic Princess there in Skagway, and they were so kind to take a picture of their patter, the daily schedule of events. It's delivered on paper every night before that next day that the schedule is for, with all of the information you need. So I want to let you know how those water shuttle tickets are obtained and how the whole system works. So based on when you're coming into port, like this, they were in port starting at 6 in the morning. So starting at 6:15 a.m., what you are supposed to do is when your whole group that you're going to go ashore with is ready to go, then you take all of you and you go down to the Ocean Terrace bar on deck 7 mid-aft, and a cruise person there is going to give you a ticket to be able to get on the shuttle. Then they want you to sit in the public areas there where they designate on the Majestic Princess, and as they are ready for your group, they will call your number and lead you down to where you'll be able to board those water shuttles. A couple of things to remember about that. First of all, remember that if you use a wheelchair or a scooter, that often those cannot be accommodated on a water shuttle. I'm really sorry to be able to tell you that, but if you already have this cruise booked and it was not a water shuttle port when you booked it, so this is a surprise, definitely ask. It has to, like the scooter has to only weigh so much. You have to be able to walk. Someone has to be able to carry the scooter for you. The same thing goes with the the wheelchair. It's just very much for safety reasons. So I would definitely ask if you're in doubt about that. Then once you get off of the water shuttle, you can come back whenever you want, and you don't have to have a ticket. You'll just know where to go back, though. Right where you get off, you go back, and then just stand in the line. They do remind people that during the highest traffic times to try to avoid those times, but it just means you have to wait a little bit longer. And so I hope everyone is enjoying their days in Skagway, and that is how that water shuttle system works there. That's how it works a lot of the time when you're in a lot of ports. But like I said, Skagway is a new water shuttle port for Princess this year. But not all the Princess ships have to have a water shuttle. I want to say that as well. Now, we have a Let's Go family member that just got off of the Ruby Princess as well, and I think they got off the day that our Let's Go family member that I just told you about let us know about the medical evacuation. I think this nice lady got off the day that they got on. So had their Alaska cruise. She said they had a wonderful time. She said that Glacier Bay was very cold and rainy. Juneau was sunny and warm, which Alaska is one of those places that not only do you have the weather, but it can change in a heartbeat. So that's why that layers is so important. You might go off the ship in the morning and it's sunny and beautiful, and by that afternoon it might be raining on you. So always take a jacket. But anyway, she pointed out that she wasn't quite as pleased with the buffet, but the Crown Grill was excellent. So excellent, in fact, that they booked it and enjoyed it again a second time on the ship. Now, without fail, I have heard this a lot lately, and I've shared it with you. So many people on Princess Cruises lately aren't crazy about the comedians that they've had. So I'm wondering if they've got a rough patch. But she said they had the comedian that wasn't so great, but they also had several tribute shows, like to Billy Joel, Elton John, Elvis. She didn't particularly enjoy those because she didn't enjoy the music of those people. But if you do enjoy the music of those, of whether it's Billy Joel, Elton John, Elvis, or someone else, they do a really good job. We have been on, I remember very clearly the Elton John one because the guy was phenomenal. You would have thought you were listening to Elton John. He did that good of a job. But so that, and then I don't know if they are not doing their production shows. So let us know if you're on the Ruby Princess. Are they doing their production shows? Because Princess has excellent production shows. So much so that like they're better than they were before COVID. You know, so many things have changed, and of course it's always easy to say that's not as good, but let me tell you, I think their production shows are better than they were before COVID, so that is something that has improved. Really quickly, the other day we talked about the MSC failing her inspection, and I got that abysmal 67, and so I'm sure they're working on that. They'll get it worked out. If you've got a sailing booked on MSC's Seascape, don't worry about it. It'll be okay. But happily, the Eurodom was just inspected and she got 100%. The reason that I wanted to mention that is because I know that it takes everyone on the ship from the top down to do such a good job to keep everything, you know, in ship shape, take good care of the passengers, and keeping everything clean, everything they're supposed to do. But I know that often the officers are recognized a little bit more than a lot of the crew members would be. So I just wanted to say hats off to the crew members there on the Eurodom. I am really excited to tell you all about the Eurodom when we board her. Today is the 18th, so we only have 9 days left until we get on the Eurodom. I am so excited. Alrighty, really quickly here, Princess has announced a bunch of their itineraries. I wouldn't say the exact date with the exact itinerary. That will come out for the Panama Canal and the cruises to Yorktown, which I think are game changers, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But those are going to go on sale on May 25th. So they will be available to elite passengers on May 24th to book, and then on May 25th, everyone else will be able to do it, and that is when you can start to see the actual itineraries, the date, and the ship, and everything to go with it. But a few things. So with the Panama Canal, Princess is changing things up a bit. I think it's awesome. They are taking the Coral Princess back. That makes me really excited. The Coral Princess is the ship that we went to Antarctica on. She is one that can fit through the old locks, and it'll be interesting to see if any of those ships do go through the old locks on any of these sailings. I really hope they do, but we'll just see what's offered. And by the way, Princess has been sailing in the Panama Canal since 1967. And they honestly are known for their onboard, for their destination experts, for the people that tell you about the history of it. So I think that is a really important component, at least it is to me, when I go somewhere like that, to have some lectures and things that go with it that educate a little bit. I know that there is so much reading material out there. If you're going on the Panama Canal, I think you should read The Path Between the Seas by David McCullough. But anyway, they have a couple of different sailings that they're going to do. They're introducing a new one that's going to be 12 nights. It'll be round trip from Fort Lauderdale, but it's also going to stop, like have a late night in Aruba, going to Bonaire and Curacao. So that is a little bit different than what they have done before. And they are still running those full transit ones that go from Fort Lauderdale to Los Angeles, Fort Lauderdale to San Francisco, and then of course back again from San Francisco to Fort Lauderdale, Los Angeles to Fort Lauderdale. I just really, I love that they include so many options, because sometimes you can't get away for the, I think there's 16-day sailings that are going to go the full transit clear over, but you can get away for 12, and so I really appreciate that. Along the way, there are a lot of really cool historical sites that you visit on their itineraries, so I think that that is just a bonus. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is those sailings that Princess is going to have that are going to include Yorktown, Virginia. Now, I remember, I think it's been a few months now since Princess announced that they were going to start calling in Yorktown, Virginia. This is huge. They are the first large cruise line that is going to call there in Yorktown. And the reason that I think that their choice to call there is such a game changer is because of the history of that whole region. When you go to Yorktown, right in Yorktown, there are so many American Revolutionary War sites that you can see, that you can actually feel the history, is how I think about it. I have been to Yorktown, not on a cruise. I've been there a couple of times. But I think it's really important, not only as adults, but I think that this would be an excellent itinerary if you're taking your children, your grandchildren, or you want to do the multi-generational family thing. Like, to me, this is perfect. I think any cruise actually is perfect for that, but I love the places that you visit because you get to see them in a way that you don't see them otherwise. And it would be kind of a big trip to get in a car and to drive to all of the places that you're going to go on the cruise. You could also, they're round trip out of New York, so you could go on the cruise and then go visit some more sites if you wanted to, or go see a few things first, then hop on the ship and do the cruise and end up there in New York. It's a good place. It's got a couple of airports, large airports, to be able to fly to different places. Which reminds me, if you live somewhere and usually you can't fly into one of the airports in New York, keep your eye out, because I saw a story the other day that usually if you live in Salt Lake City, you fly into JFK. They don't really run a lot of flights into LaGuardia, but for this year, the summer season, they are. So I just want to throw that out there. So kind of look at airports maybe that you're maybe not accustomed to looking at, and see if you can get a better rate or somewhere closer to where you really want to be. Anyway, I think these are just perfect. And so it's called, the one that calls in Yorktown is called the Colonial Heritage Voyage. It's going to be on the Island Princess. And one really cool thing about going in 2024 is that is when that region is going to start celebrating the sesquicentennial. And I think way more than just that region, but when I think of the history there, which is the 250th birthday of the United States. So you also are going to get to go to Charleston, to Boston. Think of how much history is there. If you're going to Boston and you book a cruise with me, I can tell you everywhere to go. And I'm going to New England on a cruise in September, so I will learn a lot more for you as well. But they've got these 10 and 11-day voyages that are going to start in June of 2024. And those are some of the ones that are going to go on sale on May 25th. May 25th, and then for the elites on the 24th. And then as part of their 2024 season, Princess also has what we often see, like the Canada and the New England sailings, and just so many different options, and how much into Canada you want to go. It's just, they do a really good job. The other cruise line that I think knocks it out of the ballpark as well, they clearly don't go to Yorktown yet, but Celebrity. they have excellent itineraries in New England and Canada as well. So I would definitely look at them. That is on my list of things to do, is to get on a celebrity cruise to New England soon, because that is a whole nother experience. And so I just wanted to let you know about that. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you're looking at any cruises and you need any input, you are welcome to send me an email. I'd be delighted to help you with your cruise. And what else do I want to tell you? Oh, tomorrow I'm going to talk to you about the sailings that are going to go to Europe, Northern Europe. Think of like Iceland, Norway, British Isles, the Baltics, and even down into like France and Spain. Everything going out of Southampton. Those are also going to be released on May 25th, with the Elite sailing going for sale on May 24th. And then the sailings that are going to be to the Mediterranean, those are going to go on sale on June 1st, with Elite passengers being able to book on May 31st. So we'll talk about those tomorrow. I really appreciate you all being here. If you have been on a cruise ship lately, please let us know all about it. And we would like to hear any cruise line and just how things are going. And if you have not subscribed yet, would you please subscribe to our channel? We really need to have you here. We appreciate your support. It actually really does make a difference when you subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. It just lets YouTube know that someone enjoys our videos, as does the thumbs up, and it will offer our videos to more people. So I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much, and I will be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.